To get your words and thoughts into a podcast, you're going to need equipment, and that's the subject of this video in our series, How to Start a Podcast. Hi, I'm Mike Carruthers, founder of Perfect Your Podcast. Now, it's very easy to get lost in all the equipment options available to podcasters, so let me say right off that there is no such thing as the right equipment. The equipment you get for your podcast is based on your budget, needs, and preferences. Great equipment does not make a great podcast. It's the content that goes into that equipment. Now, I've worked at over a dozen radio stations and recording facilities in my career, often on old, beat-up equipment held together by little more than bubblegum and string. But still, it worked. A $3,000 microphone does not make your podcast 10 times better than a $300 microphone. Now, if you want to get into all the reviews, comparisons, and recommendations for equipment, there is a ton of good information and video tutorials online. But since this is part of a series called How to Start a Podcast, I want to give you some solid and simple recommendations, as well as some tips you likely won't hear anywhere else that will get you started quickly and in the right way. And my first suggestion, especially for people who are not particularly tech-savvy, if you're having any trouble at all setting up your equipment or getting it to work, call a couple of radio stations or recording studios near you and ask to speak to an engineer. Ask him if he or someone he knows could set up your podcast gear for you. It'll take an hour or so of his time, so it'll cost you a few dollars, but an audio engineer will get it set up correctly, show you how to use it, and that'll save you a lot of time and frustration. In terms of what gear to buy, well, you're going to need a microphone, and you probably want to get a dynamic microphone. There are different types of mics, and without going into a lot of tech talk, a dynamic mic is usually best for podcasting. Now, this microphone is a Shure SM7B. I use it for almost everything. It's a dynamic microphone, and it costs about $350. If that's too much, I recommend the Shure SM58. This mic is about $100. It is a workhorse microphone, and it sounds fine. I also recommend the Electro Voice RE20 and the Heil PR40. I have links to all of these on my website, perfectyourpodcast.com. Next, you're going to need a mixer. I've used a Mackie mixer for years. They are inexpensive and very reliable. The 4-channel mixer is the 402 VLZ4, which means it has 4 inputs. You can plug 4 things into it, a microphone and up to 3 other audio sources. If you need more, there is the 802 VLZ4 with 8 inputs. There are other manufacturers with similar mixers at similar prices. Again, it's all preference. You will then need audio recording software to load onto your computer, and there are a lot to choose from. Again, it's preference and budget. Audacity is really quite good for podcasting, and it is free. There is also GarageBand for Mac, and for my own programs, I use Sony SoundForge for Windows because I like the plugins and because it interfaces with Sony Movie Studio, which is what I use to make these videos. But I would recommend that you start with Audacity. It may be all you need. You can download it at audacity.sourceforge.net. If you're planning to interview people on Skype, you'll need a Skype recorder, and there are some free apps for that as well as some that cost money. Check out the website for those. You'll also need some accessories, don't forget. For example, you'll need a mic stand for each microphone, a microphone cable, and possibly a pop filter, plus headphones to monitor yourself as you record. Now that is a basic podcast setup. It allows 1 or 2 microphones to go into a mixer and record into your computer. However, there's an important piece of equipment missing in this setup, and that we will discuss in the next video, Equipment Part 2. I'm Mike Carruthers. Thanks for watching.